Hard sports all plays. 365, we making up plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. Great high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics never the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. Hard sports all plays. Network. Hard sports all plays. Network. We on top of our game. Hard sports all plays. Hard sports all plays.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the All Sports, All Plays Network. Yesterday, man, you missed the show. It was me, Freddie, going against Christopher Brown, one-on-one debate. Christopher Brown beat me. He won. He moved on to the championship that's going on this Thursday. And man, oh man, do we have a show for you tonight. It's going down. It's going to be the hottest debate in America. We have Will. We have Trey. It's going to get hot. But before we bring them on, let's bring our judges on. Tonight, we'll have one of the greats on, Nate the Great. What's up with it, Nate?
What's going on, everyone? I'm pumped and excited, ready for another great debate.
Now, Nate, man, are you ready to see Will? Are you ready to see Trey? Them two been chopping about the bits for the last couple of days for this fight. Are you ready, my brother?
Yes, absolutely.
Man, now it's time to bring up our other judge. This dude started off by being the winner of the T-shirt ads that we have. This dude was one of the viewers that been on the show, been viewers ever since we got started. But now he joined the network. Brandon Herrera. What's up with it, Brandon?
I'm here, ready to listen to a couple of our own network members do battle today.
Man, Brandon, I got to ask you a question, man. It's going to get hot. It's going to be hot as the Roy Jones Jr. Mike Tyson fight on Saturday. Who is the favorite for tonight's battle in your opinion?
I'm going to go with Will. Will, slight margin. Yeah, I'm going Will.
Man, I'm going to say one thing. You pump this dude head up. This dude already got a big head. And that ego go get the jumping everywhere. But hey, there you go. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's tell you how this is going to go. There will be 5 questions. Each participant will have 2 minutes to answer the question. They'll have a minute to rebuttal on each question. Us judges will determine who win, but also we want you guys to be in the comment telling everybody who win afterwards, not during the show, afterwards. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we're not going to hold it up too much longer. It's time to bring the men that's going to bring the heat to the show. Number 1, this dude is representing Real Talk. This dude is the moderator of Real Talk. He got a big personality. Ooh, who is it? Will. What's up, Will? What's going on, man?
What's going on, everybody? I'm just here to kind of show everybody on ASAP that I'm not just a moderator today, baby.
Hey, Will, I gotta ask you a question, man. When you prepare for a battle like this, are you a little nervous inside? Are you like LeBron James that been to 8 straight finals that's used to this stuff, man?
I'll tell you what, man. First debate on a live network. I can't say I'm not going to come in here and say there's not a little bit of jitters, but I believe in myself enough to get through this. I'm going to let my sports knowledge take the reins on this one, and I believe in myself enough to get by.
All right, well, let's bring up your contestant, who you will be battling. You guys been ready for this. When we mentioned this and we put out the matchups, you guys was ready. This dude name is Trey. He been on post-game shows, pre-game shows. Hey, he's having his own show tonight. The one and only Trey. What's up with it, Trey? How's it going, man?
Going good, man. I'm ready to go. I'm pumped. I got Jesus looking out at me in the back, so I got my good luck charm. Let's do this.
Man, it's you know what? I'm not gonna talk no more. I think we need to give the people what they want. They want a battle. Nate, shall we get them a battle? Is that time ready?
Yes, it is. And
All right. The first question will go to Will.
All right.
Who is the rookie defensive player of the year in the NFL? Starting now.
Well, rookie defensive of the year, you have to go with the person that's given the biggest impact to his team right off rip. Right now, if I had to give a person, it would be Patrick Queen. This guy has come into Baltimore and he has shown up on the number one defensive set in the NFL. The guy's looking amazing. You want to talk about a guy who's got it all whenever it comes to sheer talent. You know, we talk about let me just get somebody out of the way. You know, you talk about Chase Young. People are like, oh, Chase Young, oh, this, all that. Man's not getting any pressure out there. Man's got an amazing defensive line around him, also helping him out. He's also drawing a lot of pressure. So, I mean, it is what it is. But Patrick Queen's really stepped out, and he's helped out this Baltimore Ravens team, man. You want to talk about a team after losing C.J. Mosley that desperately needed help at linebacker position. They went out and got one of the best guys out there right out of LSU, and he has stepped in, been a day one starter. Talk about not even missing a beat whenever it comes to C.J. Mosley. I mean, you talking coming in and being just as productive, if not more, stepping in right there as a guy who's made Pro Bowls, as a guy who has had All-Pro consideration. I mean, that should tell you right there that it should be somebody such as Patrick Queen. I think we're looking at a future star of the league whenever it comes to defense, one of the premier names that's going to be in the NFL for quite some time, and I think it's hard to argue otherwise.
All right. Trey, your turn. Nate, you ready?
yeah.
All right, Trey, your turn.
Man, you hit me up with the tough question. I was not ready for that one. But I'm not going to pull Will or Freddie and pass. I'm actually going to answer this question. And I'm going to try my darndest, by golly. McQueen is actually a good pick. That's actually who I was thinking about going with. McQueen has helped this Ravens defense so much in so many ways. He does stuff that you don't even see it on the statistic level. But I'm going to bring up a name, even though you said it earlier, it's Chase Young. Yes, he's not probably getting that much pressure, but how many double teams has this guy taken? He's made this defense a whole lot better in Washington than what they were a couple of years ago. He takes a double team. He lets those other pass rushers get to the quarterback. He's helped the secondary in so many ways by getting the ball, force some turnovers, stuff like that. But Chase Young, yes, he doesn't have statistical numbers, as you would say. It's probably would get Rookie of the Year, but the way he hustles on every play and the way that he rushes to the quarterback and the way he draws double teams a lot of the time, man, he just helps his defense out in so many ways, better than last year by every stretch of the imagination. But I will say McQueen probably will get Rookie of the Year, but Chase Young is right there. I think he's in the top three for sure, but I think he should win it. Just if you just look at eye vision, you can just see how much better this Washington Redskins defense is this year than it was in comparison to a couple of years ago without the great pass rushers that they have.
Will, do you want to rebuttal?
Sure.
Nate,
Let me know when my minute's ready, Nate.
Nate,
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. You want to talk about this Washington football team defense? I mean, this is the most stellar defensive front out in the NFC East. And yeah, that may not be saying something off of rip, but you want to talk about one of the most dangerous trenches out there in the NFC between Ryan Kerrigan, between Daron Payne, between Jonathan Allen. Chase Young is going to see success just because so many people draw different attention. And yes, Baltimore has some great players too, but you want to talk about guys who have comparable sack numbers while Patrick Queen plays linebacker and when Chase Young is on the defensive line. This guy, they've both forced only 2 fumbles, and you want to talk about a guy who's not getting in there that much. You want to talk about a linebacker forcing fumbles. The D-line has the best chance out of anybody for a strip sack, for somebody to hit somebody in the backfield. The guy who has only gotten sacks, and 3 of the 4 games that he's gotten sacks out are against the NFC East teams, and nobody in that division has a good offensive line. You've seen the Cowboys be injured. You've seen the Philadelphia Eagles be injured. The Giants are so-so whenever it comes to their offensive line as well, some towards the bottom. And so because of that, Patrick Queen's got to be the guy.
all right, Trey.
You say that NFC East doesn't have that great of offensive line. The Dallas Cowboys, even with their backup offensive line, they're actually doing pretty well. They can still run the ball. You saw Tony Ballard a couple weeks ago. Ezekiel Elliott finally rushed over 100 yards. The problem with that is the Dallas Cowboys throw the ball way too much, and that's another excuse. So, but going back, man, Chase Young just – I can't say much more about this guy. He has made this defensive line better. Yes, it's against the NFC East a lot of the times, but if you look at all their games, they're pretty much all close games because of Chase Young and that defensive line, and he just made each one of them better, making pressure, getting to the quarterback. He's just an all-around set, and he showed it at Ohio State, and he's carried his game all the way to the NFL this year, and he's only going to get better from here on out.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I think the nervous chill that came off these two gentlemen. But let's get it heated. Let's get even more heated in here. Question 2.
All right, question 2. Does a quarterback make the receiver, or does the receiver make the quarterback? Trey, we'll go first.
Starting now.
Good question, Brandon. Being a former receiver myself, I would say the receiver makes the quarterback look a lot better. Because think about it. If a receiver drops a pass, if a receiver runs the wrong route and the quarterback throws an interception, at the end of the day, the quarterback gets the interception, and we're all talking about the quarterback and look how many interceptions he's had throughout the season. Where if you throw one bad pass and a receiver makes a great catch, like a Tyreek Hill, like we saw it last night with what's his name, the guy from Seattle. He makes spectacular plays all night. But making those kind of plays makes any quarterback look great. Because at the end of the day, we're all going to look at the numbers and we're all going to say, "Oh, this quarterback was 98% from the throwing the ball today." But what you really don't realize is a lot of those times it's either one-handed catches like an Odell Beckham Jr. or it's a diving pass, or overthrown ball that a guy, or a sideline pass. Tiptoe the sidelines and made a great catch. Yes. So whenever a quarterback throws a wrong route, or a receiver runs a wrong direction and the quarterback throws an interception, then we all just look, "Oh, that quarterback's horrible," when we all know that the receiver is in charge of breaking in and out around and reading the defenses. So the receiver makes a good quarterback, but there are times that a quarterback does make a good receiver. But in most cases, the receiver will make a quarterback look really, really good at a lot of times.
All right, well, you're ready.
All right, for the sake of debate, I'm just going to take the other side. 'Cause I like what Trey said. I do like what Trey said. There's a lot of situations in which a wide receiver makes a quarterback look good. I've said it multiple times on the show. Allen Robinson has made terrible quarterbacks look somewhat competent his whole entire career from the college level on. But you want to talk about some players. Let's talk about somebody like Tyreek Hill. What are you going to do if you don't have a quarterback who can hit that deep ball? What is Tyreek Hill going to do? He's going to have to become an intermediate receiver, and that's not going to be the same type of play that he is. Let's talk about somebody like Baker Mayfield holding back players such as Odell Beckham Jr., such as a Jarvis Landry. If your quarterback's not making these throws, then what are the wide receivers supposed to do? At the end of the day, the offense is completely ran through a quarterback. And yes, a wide receiver may miss a route or something like that, or a miscommunication, and then a quarterback ends up throwing a pick. Guess what? The guy running the huddle is the quarterback. If there's a miscommunication, it's on that man. It is the man holding the ball who's making the throw. At the end of the day, a wide receiver can only do so much. The entire offense is in the quarterback's hands. A quarterback has to make his wide receiver the wide receiver has to do his job, yes, but the quarterback has a much more important job to make it happen. The quarterback has to make the wide receiver.
All right, Trey, you want a rebuttal on that?
Yeah, I do. You say Robinson makes any quarterback look good for the Bears. He hasn't made any Bears quarterback look good this year, if you want to go with that. But I mean, we are a fantasy league ownership, and what do we look at with our fantasy league? How many interceptions? How many touchdowns? How many this? How many that? I'm telling you, receivers make a quarterback. Yes, a Patrick Mahomes is going to be a great quarterback, and yes, you're going to have a Drew Brees and a Tom Brady. But DK Metcalf for the Seahawks made Russell Wilson look phenomenal this year. You know, overthrown balls that this guy could have thrown, but DK Metcalf is so fast that he catches up to the ball. Or a Tyreek Hill, Patrick Mahomes, as great as he is, he underthrows a lot. He underthrows and makes bad passes a lot of times, and these receivers go back and catch the ball. So I say 80% of the time, 70 to 80% of the time, these receivers go out and make the quarterback look a lot better than what he actually is, aka the
all right,
Alex.
time.
All right, Will.
All right. So first off, I want to start my rebuttal by saying thank you, Trey, for saying that Allen Robinson has made no Chicago Bears quarterback look good. Thank you for proving my point. That's exactly what I just said. Quarterbacks are what makes the wide receiver. You want to talk about one of the most underappreciated wide receiver cores between Anthony Miller, Allen Robinson, and Darnell Mooney. Darnell Mooney kept Jalen Ramsey on skates in that Rams game. There were 2 to maybe 4 different occasions where Darnell Mooney had blew past this guy, who's an all-pro, who's a multiple-time Pro Bowler. And it doesn't matter because the quarterback can't make the throw. If the quarterback can't make the throw, then what's the point of the wide receiver? He can't do anything about it. The quarterback has so much more control that it has to come down to what he does, because the wide receiver can only run his route and he can only blow by his defender. But if the quarterback can't make it happen, then he can't make it happen.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, turn the fan on. Get your ice box on. Open. It's getting cold, hot in here. We need to cool the set off a little bit because they are dropping the heat. Nate, question number 3.
So, Will gets the first response. Is Troy Aikman overrated? And your time starts now.
Is Troy Aikman overrated? Is he the pure definition of overrated? I mean, you want to talk about a guy who doesn't even have – this guy's a Hall of Fame quarterback, by far the worst Hall of Fame quarterback in the NFL. You want to talk about a guy who sat behind one of the best offensive lines in NFL history. You want to talk about a guy who had a safety blanket in one of the best running backs in NFL history. I mean, this guy, Troy Aikman, is the definition. I mean, he doesn't even have a 2 touchdown to 1 interception ratio. I mean, this guy has, I want to say, around 160 career touchdowns to 140 career picks. I mean, this guy is absolutely terrible. I mean, and everybody looks at Troy Aikman. Oh, yeah, you got 3 rings. Dude, Troy Aikman is the definition that rings can get you into the Hall of Fame. Because if he didn't have any rings, this guy's not in there. I can promise you that. This guy did nothing impressive in his career other than the fact that he happened to be on the Dallas Cowboys at the right time. There is no way that Troy Aikman is a Hall of Famer otherwise. You can book it, as Coach Cam would say. You can book it that he would not be in the NFL Hall of Fame if he wasn't on the Cowboys. Yes,
Technically,
100%.
Before you give Trey an opportunity to talk, Coach Cam don't say book it. I say book it.
Well, I'm sorry for crediting the wrong person who said book it. Talk about a guy who, all right, Coach Cam says this: what can go wrong will go wrong. And if Troy Aikman was on any other team other than the Dallas Cowboys at that time, you bet your behind that everything would go wrong for Troy Aikman.
Time starts now.
Will, I really hate you. You literally stole all my points almost. But going back to all that, that's why I hated when you had to go first on this one, because I was primed and ready for this one. But talk about receivers making a quarterback look good. Michael Irvin made Troy Aikman look really, really, really good. Yes, he was behind that offensive line. If you put Troy Aikman back in the day with the, let's say the Kansas City Chiefs or the Cincinnati Bengals, they'll be going 1-15 every year. This offensive line, the running back Emmitt Smith, the fullback, you forgot about the fullback and Moose Johnson. Troy Aikman is a definition of a non-Hall of Famer. You can actually book that, whoever says that, because if you watching in the 90s quarterback, yes, the offensive line and that stellar defense as well. You didn't have to throw the ball. That defense, the big D in defense back in the day, would turn the ball. Deion Sanders, all those great defensive players would actually give you points too. So they didn't have to do much in the quarter. And then whenever they did fall far behind, you never saw Troy Aikman come back and win the game. You don't see Troy Aikman in the top 10 in comeback wins in the NFL career. You don't see Troy Aikman with the passing. He only had 100, I think, Will was right, 160 yards touchdown passes in his career. That's the 2 years for Patrick Mahomes, it seems like, or an Aaron Rodgers, or Russell Wilson. So yes, Will is correct, but he didn't. These quarterbacks today are a lot. They're throwing the ball a lot more today, but still at the same time, you still had Brett Favre back in his heyday. He throwing balls, so that's not an excuse. With it's a different time back in the day. You had Kurt Warner in the early 2000s. You had
10 seconds.
Steve Young. You had all these great quarterbacks also throwing. So Troy Aikman, if he did not have those 3 rings, I say if he only had 1 ring, he still wouldn't even get in. So you can book that.
All right. Will, do you want to rebuttal?
Yeah, I'll just make a small point real quick. Yeah, no matter who's out there back in the 90s, whenever Troy Aikman was there, yes, it comes down to the defense and everything. And yes, we all know what made that Dallas Cowboys team. That offensive line was amazing. That running back was amazing. The defense was outstanding as well. Troy Aikman just happened to fall from the graces of heaven right into the Dallas Cowboys organization. But you want to talk about a quarterback that could have almost done anything and to make his way into the Hall of Fame, could walk his way into a couple of rings. Yes, he obviously had to make some throws, but there is no reason why you only throw 14 more touchdowns than career interceptions and you get put into the Hall of Fame. I understand the game is different, but at the end of the day, it comes down to turnovers, and turnovers have been the same throughout the game's history. And if you're over here turning over the ball, you can't hold on to the ball, then you are putting your offense at a disadvantage, and it is just absolutely terrible. 3 rings is all it takes to get into the NFL Hall of Fame, at least in Troy Aikman's stake.
All right, Nate. I mean, not Nate. Trey, you want to rebuttal?
Just to prove a point that this is how good, really not good Troy Aikman was. That Thanksgiving game when they were behind and Troy Aikman got injured and Jason Garrett had to come back and lead that team to victory. You saw pinpoint accuracy. You saw the backup quarterback throw better accuracy passes than what Troy Aikman had to. Troy Aikman was a beneficiary of all these great linemen. He was a beneficiary of a great running back, and he was a beneficiary of the great big defense in Dallas. If I guarantee if he only had 1 or 2 Super Bowl rings, he wouldn't get in. But let's just say this. Would you put Baker Mayfield in right now? I guarantee you he's going to have more touchdown passes than what Troy Aikman has. Are you going to put Alex Smith in? He's going to have more touchdown passes. I mean, it's just mind-boggling that just the statistics that he was shown today. I know it's a different era, but the statistics he has today, back in the if you compare him from today and a couple of years, when he played, we wouldn't even be talking to him about a top 25, 30 quarterback in the season. So
2, 1.
Troy Aikman is way overrated.
Right,
I'm sorry. Sorry, Cowboy fans. I'm sorry.
All right. Well, Coach Cam said Aikman is terrible.
Facts.
Facts.
This is Coach Cam saying Aikman is a bum.
And I do want to say this. When you're watching a game with Troy Aikman, no, I'm just saying, no, it's not a debate. When you're watching Troy Aikman commentate about how a quarterback should play, does that not irritate anybody else?
He's a bum on the field and in the booth. We all know Troy Aikman is a crazy NFL.
All right. This next question, I believe we're starting with Trey.
Mm-hmm.
And then so this is going to get interesting. Which quarterback should go first? Should it be Dak Prescott? Or should it be Mitchell Trubisky?
Go as and lead the team.
All
I
right.
was just going to say, like, go where? Super Bowl? Or
Yeah, right? I thought it was going to be a Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields question, but okay.
All right, Trey, let's go.
That's actually what I was hoping for because I was ready for that one. No, but the Chicago Bears are in trouble. We all know this. Pat Nagy is going to lose his job, and that's because of no quarterback play. Mitchell Trubisky showed signs of life his first year. That's when no one ever had tape on him. He didn't play much in college. He didn't play much. He only had 1 season, I think, in North Carolina. He didn't play a full season. I don't believe in that. He had some talent, and no one really had tape on Mitch Trubisky. And he had a decent first year, and they got out in the first round. Ever since then, man, he can't. I was watching that game the other night. He was throwing balls into triple coverage. He wasn't even leaving the receivers in the slant pass. He can't even make a 5-yard throw without throwing it behind the guy. He can't even hand the ball off correctly, basically, and which is really sad because I was actually rooting for Mitch Trubisky, and that just says something about the Bears and how they just traded up to get him at from number 3 to number 2. So that just says something right there about the Chicago Bears and how they run their team nowadays. But going back to Dak Prescott and everything, Dak Prescott shouldn't go. Dak Prescott has proved, you're seeing it this year. That guy, the will, the power that he has on the offensive side of the ball. Yes, he might be the best quarterback. Yes, he might be better than Wentz or any the statistic numbers like Wentz will have or anything like that. But just the determination, the will, he'll grind through games. He'll lead a team to victory. He'll come back and win the game for you. And you can show the leadership in that locker room. And there's no leadership in that Chicago Bears locker room with Mitch Trubisky at the helm. Everyone's already given up on him. Everyone already was wanting Nick Foles in there as a starting quarterback. Everyone's mad that he was already back and we haven't got rid of him. They should have cut him before the end of the beginning of the year. We already know what Mitch Trubisky is. He just keeps digressing. And he just can't throw the football as yes, he gives you another option too with running the ball. That's something Nick Foles doesn't have. But Dak Prescott gives you both of those. He can throw and run the ball at the same time, and he can lead some team. At least Dak Prescott can say that he has a playoff win over Mitch Trubisky, even though it's 1-2. So Dak Prescott should stay, and Mitch Trubisky is definitely going to go at the end of this year.
All right,
Will.
Let's do this. The question is, which quarterback should go first? Should it be Dak or should it be Trubisky? And there's no debate at that. I mean, it's obviously the fact that Mitch Trubisky should definitely go first. I mean, we didn't pick up his club option. There's no reason and he's not going to stay. But here's the problem. Mitch Trubisky is giving hope to Bears fans. And that's the problem when it comes to the Bears organization. You want to talk about a terrible organization when it comes to drafting quarterbacks, whenever Sid Luckman and Jay Cutler are considered godsends to your organization of quarterback play. I mean, you have people cheering so much to get Mitch Trubisky into the game, but that doesn't make him a good quarterback. Mitch Trubisky doesn't help this team in any other way. He helps this team over Nick Foles because he has the mobile aspect, and that offensive line is made out of marshmallows and scarecrows. They just stand there and watch defenders go by. But Dak Prescott at least is getting W's in the regular season. You want to talk about a guy who can actually spread out the ball whenever it comes down to it. Whenever Dak Prescott's in, Ezekiel Elliott, Tony Pollard, whoever's running the ball, can do more in the backfield because they know they're not going to be heavily reliant on the run game. Now, a little bit of coaching decisions, they may be quick to abandon the run, which is a little bit awkward whenever you got somebody like Zeke Elliott back there. But yeah, Mitch Trubisky should easily go first. I mean, Mitch Trubisky's not a starting quarterback, but neither is Nick Foles. Whenever it comes down to it, the Bears need to get rid of that entire quarterback room. There's no question about it. They need to get rid of both of them. I would argue they both need to go before Dak Prescott, because Dak Prescott, if they can find a price tag, honestly should probably be the franchise quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys going forward. The way that the statistics that he shows, and yes, a lot of those stats come in the second half and garbage time. He's a great garbage time stat eater, but this man at least keeps games competitive. You want to talk about a game, Mr. Trubisky doesn't keep games competitive. Everybody can go back and look at Sunday Night Football. I understand the Packers are a way better team, but there is no excuse to be looking that bad on the big stage.
All right. Do we have Trey? Do you want to rebuttal?
You mean Trey? I'll say a couple of quick things. Will was right. I mean, yes, you gave him hope that Mitch. We were hoping, as a Chicago Bear fan, as Will is, you were hoping and praying that him being injured and him watching and being benched and everything would light a fire. And he was saying all the right things going into the week. But my God, he threw deep. He was doing good in that first drive. He was making pinpoint accuracy passes. He was leading the Bears down the field. And then what does he do? He panics because Aaron Rodgers was scoring every touchdown, and he wanted to make up every play from there on out. And he throws it in double, triple coverage. And then what does he do on the next series after he throws an interception? He fumbles the ball. And by that time, you're down 24 points. Trubisky he said all the right things, but he just doesn't. He's not an NFL quarterback. I don't even think he's a backup quarterback, to be mind you. He's not a good guy. He might be a good gadget guy, like an option kind of pass gadget kind of guy, but I would argue he's not even a backup quarterback.
Will, do you want to have your last rebuttal?
Yeah, I'll add a couple more points in here. Mitch Trubisky was drafted number 2, and that's what he'll always be. He will always be number 2. Now, whatever way you want to take that, whether you want to take that as the backup quarterback or the bathroom slang, that's what he will always be, is number 2. But this man, he has proven multiple times whenever he's on the field he can't read a defense. Don't get me wrong, the play calling is absolutely abysmal, but the problem is with Mitch Trubisky is that this guy doesn't have the ability to go through reads. Dak Prescott can at least go through reads like a competent NFL quarterback. Mitch Trubisky has glued onto his primary receiver ever since he's joined the NFL, ever since he was in college. And that's what happens whenever you don't get a quarterback enough exposure whenever he's at the college level. This man didn't even start a full collegiate season. And then he wanted to play on a team like UNC that isn't nearly the team that they are right now. I mean, this team was starting to come up on the up and up with Mitch Trubisky, but now they've made a name for themselves in UNC. But no, it's very obvious that Dak needs to stay before Mitch Trubisky stays, because, I mean, it's not even a question.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is the last question. Could this last question bring one of them up to the winning stage? Could this last question finish it?
This one's worth $1 million.
Brandon,
All right.
give it to the people.
All right. Question number 5.
Yep.
Eli Manning and Phillip Rivers, are they Hall of Famers? We're going to start with Will.
Okay, sick. Thank you. Glad that we're starting with me. Okay, you want to talk about? Let's go back to Troy Aikman. You want to talk about a guy who made it into the Hall of Fame just because he won rings? Okay, Phillip Rivers doesn't have any rings, but this is a guy who's top 15 in every single category in quarterbacks all time. You want to talk about a guy who's top 15 in anything in your sport? This man should be a guaranteed lock Hall of Famer. The fact that people don't say that he's a Hall of Famer is proof that some people only care about Super Bowl rings. It's not all about winning. It's not. At a point, this man has done so much for the game. It is so statistically proven that Phillip Rivers has done so much for the game of football. And Eli Manning has 2 rings of it of himself. If the rings matter, throw him in there. What are we even arguing about? Eli Manning's right up there with statistics. There is no reason that either one of these quarterbacks should be left out. You want to look at somebody like Troy Aikman, and you want to say he's an NFL Hall of Fame quarterback, but you don't want to give it to Phillip Rivers and Eli Manning, who are top 15 all time. One of them has rings, and the other one is just statistically amazing whenever it comes down to his career. Come on, man. That's not even a debate. If any NFL fan is out there and you were saying that Phillip Rivers or Eli Manning is not a Hall of Famer, you don't watch football. And I'm going to pull a Chris Brown. I don't want to hear from you. I don't want to hear that debate. If you even want to say that either one of these guys isn't in the Hall of Fame, you are bugging, and we are not talking because you don't know football.
He didn't drop the mic. Trey, what do you think, my brother? Your time is gone.
Did I just hear you right? And you just say winning wasn't everything in the NFL? Isn't that what we based it on? Championships aren't everything. I'm sorry, but when it came up to playoff time, Phillip Rivers came short, and he had all those great teams around him. He had the best record in the NFL. He had the best. One of the best running backs in league history in LaDainian Tomlinson. And yes, he can have all the statistical record, just like that. How many of those were garbage time and they didn't even count yards and stuff like that? Eli Manning is going to get in because of his 2 Super Bowl rings. And what you can point up to is Eli Manning. Yes, he won 2 Super Bowls, basically because of their defense, and the New England Patriots, for some odd reason, can't figure out the New York Giants defense for some odd reason. But that one spectacular in the grass that they didn't call, they're fixing to call sack, that's what we remember. That's what we always see. Phillip Rivers doesn't have any of those. Phillip Rivers doesn't have those miraculous plays that Eli Manning has. We as fans always look at rings. When we talk about GOATs, Jordan, LeBron, what do we look? We count rings. How many championships? When we look at who's the best quarterback, Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes, they both have 1-1. Tom Brady, Peyton Manning. We say Tom Brady because Tom Brady has 6 rings and he got it done in clutch time, where Peyton Manning never got it done. Same thing with Eli and Phillip Rivers. Phillip Rivers is shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame. He might get in because of the glorified statistics, but if anyone who ever watched Phillip Rivers knows he's not a top 10 quarterback ever. I'm sorry. I'm going to say that. He had all the offense in the world. He had a great tight end who's going to get in the Hall of Fame in Gates. Speaking of receivers making the quarterback look good, Gates and Williams for a couple of years made Phillip Rivers more better than what he actually was. Then you had LaDainian Tomlinson, who was MVP of the league. Was Phillip Rivers MVP of the league? No. So
10 seconds.
So basically what Phillip Rivers comes up short in playoff moments, and that's what we look at as fans. And Eli Manning actually won a couple Super Bowls and won in big clutch moments as well.
All right, wait before you go, Will. Man, you got Trey pumped up on that one, man. Hey, do you want a rebuttal?
I'd be insulted if I didn't have one. Folks, this is my Phillip Rivers Hall of Fame speech, and this is where I'm going to bury Trey in this debate right here. You want to talk about a guy who is top 5 in completions all time. You want to talk about a guy who is number 5 all time in passing yards, top 10 all time in passing touchdowns, top 10 all time in career QBR rating. I don't care if he's not winning. He is a statistical oddity. You want to talk about a guy who is top 5 in your sport in a position, probably the most important position in the sport, and we can agree on that. And this guy is not a Hall of Famer. I don't care if he doesn't have any rings. This man's an 8-time Pro Bowler. I don't care if he doesn't have any rings. This guy is top 10 in every single quarterback stat all time. You want to talk about a guy who needs to be in the Hall of Fame? This is like keeping Pete Rose out of the Hall of Fame, a guy who leads your freaking league in hits, and you're not going to put him in the Hall of Fame? This guy leads everything in hits. Okay, this guy is the best hitter of all time, and he's not in the Hall of Fame. What are you doing keeping your best players out of the Hall of Fame? The NFL is a joke if Phillip Rivers doesn't make it in the Hall of Fame. Troy Aikman has less than 20,000 less yards, and oh man, I needed another 30 seconds. Oh my God.
Trey, you have a minute. And
First off,
after this minute, we will declare a winner.
First off, the reason Pete Rose isn't in the Hall of Fame is because of gambling. It had nothing to do with the statistical errors. That's just a stupid rule for the Major League Baseball. Second of all, rings do count for something. I'm sorry. So you're telling me is Tony Romo a first ballot Hall of Famer? Are you telling me I think he should be? I know, but that's where I'm going with this. You look at Tony Romo's statistics. Look at Tony Romo. He's going to be the top 10. He's top 20 quarterback in the league if you look at statistics right now. But when we go through debate and we go through how many rings does each player have, we go by Super Bowl rings and how many have they won. And if you just go back and playoff moments, you're going to see Phillip Rivers always choked in the big games. He can never get past New England Patriots. He can never get past any great team. And then even when they are the number one seed, they always lose in the first round, or somehow they get to the AFC Championship and get blown out by the New England Patriots or somebody else of that caliber. But rings mean something. You can't tell me and sit here and tell this whole audience that we don't play the games because championships don't mean anything. They do. That's why they play the game. That's why.
All right.
Can we please both get one more minute?
No. Ladies and gentlemen,
it's all right. Well, you got it.
Will and Trey have put on the show today. This show must come to an end.
Good job, Will.
Good job, Trey.
Now let's see who wins. We're going to go on a break. But I want the fans to put in the comments who did they think win. It might be closer than you two guys think. It might be Will. It might be Trey. Ooh, don't forget.
It might be Brandon.
Hey, so let's go on a quick break. You guys, all our viewers, put in the comments who won this debate, and we'll announce the winners right after this break.
All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making up plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics never the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace up the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays. Network. All sports, all plays. Network. We on top of our game. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, the time has came. Madison said both had some solid facts, but I think we'll pick this one for sure. I don't know, Madison. These numbers don't lie. Drum roll, please. Us judges decided it was a draw.
You're stopping.
A draw between Trey and Will.
You did not.
That was our best decision. That was the best way that we thought could go with this.
What is this, Mike Tyson and Roy Jones? I want an answer.
This was so hot. At first, this was going to be a sudden death, but we just thought a draw would be better to not declare a winner. And so, there you go.
You did not do that.
He's joking you, dude.
You didn't.
I'm just saying the draw was good, bro. Like, you guys are both good. You guys both had solid facts.
Props to Trey. Okay, props to Trey. The man's been he's been grinding all day. He told me that he had an 11-hour work week before he came in today. Okay, props to Trey. But you need to pick a winner. What are you doing? Are you good? What?
It was a draw.
Ain't no draw.
Brandon couldn't decide. They couldn't decide. I couldn't. It's going to be a draw.
Y'all are kidding.
was.
No, this way.
Yeah.
Dude, your face is getting all red because you.
Ladies and gentlemen, pump the brakes. It was
Let me cool the light real quick. There you go.
So we decided it was 4-1. Will is the winner. He won this round of debate. He will advance to the championship round. But I'm gonna let Trey say what he had to say. No, we're gonna do something different. We're gonna let the judges say what they had to say. Brandon, your last thoughts.
Yeah, I thought it was a great debate by both guys. You know, it looked like we threw Trey a couple curveballs there, but he pulled through with his answers. Well, you know, made some great points all around, especially the Troy Aikman one. I mean, you know, you guys did not point out that the Vikings are the ones that actually helped the Cowboys win those Super Bowl rings. So kind of disappointed in both of you on that one. So.
Well, you didn't ask about him. You didn't ask about that.
All right, Nate.
I've got to say, Will, that joke that you made about Mitchell Trubisky, that number 2 thing, that was, but that sense of that, the jokes that you made in this debate, I think, is really what got you over Trey in this matchup.
Time the out. I see what it is. You choose because of comedy. I choose off of real. I wonder why I lost you today. I was wondering. But no, man. Hey, Trey was great. Will was great. I'm just glad a brother from Real Talk is able to continue the legacy. Then maybe we'll somebody from Real Talk will win the final. All right, Trey, your last thoughts.
I just want to say how rigged it. No, I'm just kidding. Will did his thing. Will did his thing. It was fun. This is actually my first ever debate on live. First debate doing anything like this on live TV. So it just gives me more practice to come up. And I think we should do this monthly, once a month or whatever. Give us more practice. Sure. I was a little nervous because I didn't know what the questions were. It's hard not knowing. And I was a judge last night, and you don't know what. At least with like presidential debates, you get to know the topics you're going to be discussing. We don't even have that. Like everything's throwing curveballs. So like we don't know what to study for, this and that. And it basically you got to study the whole Bible of the sports playbook. But my hats off to Will. He brought his facts. He was more prepared than I was. I apologize to my family. I let y'all down. I honestly had a fun blast doing this. I'll be better next time. I swear to God. But yeah, I mean, it's my first ever debate on live. I never done live until I joined this network. I've always done my podcast, editing and everything. So I appreciate all the fans out there giving me props, putting up with this network. Without y'all, this wouldn't be possible. So good job, Will. You're a fun debater. You're fun to get on, even though your face gets all red and tomato-y whenever you get all upset. It makes me laugh and throws me off my game a little bit. But congratulations, Will, and hopefully we do this again, man.
All right, Will, your last thoughts.
Well, thank you to all the judges and everybody. I appreciate the dub. I appreciate fair and even judging. I was kind of concerned there may be a little controversy, but I'm glad we didn't get it. Hats off to Trey, man. Guy came out here. Guy definitely had facts, and I could tell that it could definitely be a different story if he got some questions first. I tell you what. I mean, I could tell that I could just took the words right out of his mouth. Me and Trey have been on a couple post games together. Me and Trey have talked a little bit in the chat, and him and I are two very similar minds whenever it comes to sports, at least on most topics. You know, there's a couple we definitely sway on some, but you know, hats off to him, man. Hats off to everybody else. And hey, tomorrow night we're one person away from Real Talk sweeping into the championship round. That's all I'm saying. I just wanted to say that today I wanted to prove that I was more than just a moderator, and I'm glad I was able to do that tonight.
Hey, before we get off here, Trey, please tell these people what they gonna expect with the next 15 minutes.
What they're going to get is the first time we're just going to have a college sports show. Jock talk, no books, no class, just sports, baby. And me and Jay, we're going to bring the heat. We're going to recap the top 25, reveal their top 25, the college football playoff tonight. There's some, it stayed the same, but there's going to be something I want to get off my chest with the BYU Tigers and other things like that. We're going to key on the key matchups for this weekend. We're also going to talk about Ohio State and should they even be considered in the playoffs and everything like that with the minimum games that they played. All that and more. So come everyone listen every Tuesday night at 9:30 Central Time. Me and Jay will bring the heat about college. But if you love college sports, come and watch us. It would be a lot of fun and a blast to share our knowledge with y'all. So come and join us, please.
All righty. Well, we want to thank all the audience. We want to thank Trey. We want to thank Nate. We want to thank Brandon Herrera for coming on to do your part in the show today. We want to congratulate Will for winning this round. On to next. Tomorrow night, we have Jay versus Coach Cam. That shall get interesting, gentlemen. It's going to get heated. We might have somebody from Real Talk win it. We shall find out. You guys have a wonderful rest of your night. We're out.
All sports, all plays. Yeah. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays.